What's going on, everybody? You guys let me know if the audio is matching up here, as always. If not, I gotta restart this damn thing. Happy Monday. What's up, Jay Hugasane? I don't know about president, but I'll take YouTube's official prison consultant. We'll go with that for now. So Jay, since I know you're watching, if you can give me a thumbs up if the audio and video is matching. Might be time for a new computer. I keep saying that. What up, Juan Carlos, Michael B, Birdman. I got Birdman behind, or Emma's behind me. I don't know if you guys can see her in her little cage back there, but she's gonna back there and singing us a song the whole time. Sounds like RDAP's the greatest I've ever seen. Something like that. She's probably singing. Thomas Seymour, what's the craziest thing you've seen in the pen, I guess he means. Never been to the pen, Thomas Seymour. I've only been to a low security. But nothing too crazy, man. I saw somebody get smashed in the face with an iron. Yeah, that was probably, no, somebody got hit with a microwave. That was pretty bad, too, because these big, bulky industrial microwaves, and the guy didn't see it coming. He was laying in his bunk. So that was pretty messy. The iron incident, the microwave incident was pretty messy. TV room incident with some chairs, pretty messy. But anyway, let's kind of jump in tonight's topic, because I was running a little bit late. Didn't even get a chance to eat, so I'm going to down this protein shake. Tonight's topic, federal prison consultants. How do you decide who the right prison consultant is for you? Now, as we all know, there's a lot of prison consultants that are out there right now, and it seems to be more and more are coming out, which is good and bad. It's all based on intent, follow through, the best of intentions. Sometimes, guys, things get destroyed with the best of intentions. Somebody might have the greatest ideas and they want nothing but to help people, but then they fall short. They don't get the work done, start over-promising, under-delivering, and that can create a disaster. So how are you going to decide when you're out there possibly looking for a prison coach or a prison consultant or even an attorney when you're out there doing your homework? The best thing to do is, A, you want to go try to find reviews, and the best to your ability to find non-biased reviews, meaning you don't want to necessarily read reviews off of their website, because I don't know anybody in their right mind that is going to allow a negative review on their own website. That would just be silly. So you want to go to, just Google prison consultant A, B, or C, whoever it is you're looking at, and put in their reviews, and hopefully there's some reviews on them. Other things you want to look at, you want to ask them is, what are they able to do for you really? And what's their motivation behind why they're doing it? Ask them, how did you get into this industry? Oh, I went to prison. Great. But what made you decide this was to be your business? And I get that question all the time. People ask me, so how did you get into this? How did you become a prison consultant? And it wasn't just because I went to prison. My story is a little bit different in how I became a prison consultant versus a lot of other guys in the industry. I never attempted to enter the prison consulting arena as a business, and my YouTube videos will completely back that up. If you go to my very first YouTube video, why I went to federal prison, it was before I went to prison, obviously. Just talking about my situation, where my mind frame was, what I was thinking about at the time, just getting ready to go. A couple days before, I decided to throw up a video and talk a little bit to, I don't even know who was going to listen. I had no idea anybody would really even see it other than, some people on my Facebook page. So getting out of prison, I saw these hundreds of comments, and there was tons of emails that were sent to me from people just like you, that were getting ready to head off to federal prison or potentially going to federal prison, and they wanted to know what my experience was like, and if when I got out, if I would reach out to them. So, does the words match the lips? Oh, there's Shelly. Everybody say hi to Shelly. Shelly Morford's in the room. That's the wizard behind the voice. I'm just the pretty face. Shelly gets it all done. What's up, Chris? Hood Squad TV. What's good, Dan? I didn't get a chance to ask you about calculating my time. I got 27 months. I will be heading to Montgomery Thursday. Don't want to interrupt your live chat, but could you absolutely, Hood Squad TV. I'm sure you have maybe you've contacted me under a different name, but as you can see, my phone number is in the top of this screen. Do me a favor and shoot me a text, and I will be happy to respond to that as soon as I'm finished here in this video in about 45 minutes or so. So back to what we were saying. Once I got out of prison, I saw all of these comments from people that were terrified, just like me, and I had no idea there was this giant community of good people that made bad choices that were going to prison. I thought I was alone in this fucked up boat where it was like, man, I'm the only good guy in the world that made a bad choice that's got to go to prison for it. How did I get so screwed? And a lot of you feel the same way, and I know this because almost every single one of you will say to me at some point in time, how much time do you think I'm going to do? I've never been in trouble before. I have a job. I have kids. I have a family. This was a simple mistake that I made. Do you think I'm going to go to prison? And it's like, yeah, I do, because good people go to prison every day. I would say in the camps and the low securities, it's probably full of really good people that just made some shitty decisions, which leads me to how I became a prison consultant. So when I saw all of this information and people asking all of these questions, I was like, oh shit, I want to post response videos and just tell these guys what it's really like and what to expect, and stop freaking out. Don't go try to commit suicide. Don't go on the run. Don't bail out of the country, because for most of us, where you're going is not the end of the world. So I slowly got into making the response videos, doing it part-time on the side, kind of got into it when I could, and slowly people started calling me more and more, getting more messages, and I started taking it more serious. And then at some point, I realized I had to make a decision. I was either going to continue answering everybody's questions pretty quickly, or I was going to stick with a job that I wasn't passionate about. It wasn't a bad job. I just wasn't passionate about it, and make that decision. Passionate job, guaranteed income. Answering people's questions on YouTube, zero income. It was a really hard decision to make, to say, all right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to charge people something. What's fair? You know, I started off in a $3,000 range only because I was mimicking other prison consultants, seeing what they were charging, and, you know, that was the range that they were at. But then once I really got into it and I saw the need for this, and it wasn't what I expected, was nothing but white-collar criminals that had tons and tons and tons of money, that that $3,000 was no big deal. But once I realized the amount of work that would go into a file, where most of that work was just phone conversation and understanding and coaching, and then understanding that the letters, the personal narratives, character reference letters, PSR review, making sure you're prepared for RDAP. Once I really got into all of this, I said, you know what? If I package this differently and put the right team together of people that actually fucking care about seeing what happens to everybody, and give awesome expectations on to what sorry, just read a silly comment from Last Known Beer. He's in the room. Everybody run. But once I really understood the expectation, and I said, you know what? I can do this for a fraction of the cost and still make money and go above and beyond what every other prison consultant for the most part is doing. So that's how I got into this. That's my backstory. This started from pure passion without any interest of making a dollar. Now, obviously, the passion, the heart is still there, but it's what I got to do in order to survive. So, sorry, reading comments. Thomas Seymour, I don't think prison rape is that common in a low-level camp. You are correct, Thomas. You win the prize. Ding, ding, ding. I need a sound effect guy. So, when you're getting ready to hire a prison consultant, guys, questions you need to ask yourself. Who's on their team? What are they going to be able to do for you? What advice are they giving you? If they're telling you letters aren't important, like personal narratives, character reference letters, if a prison consultant tells you it's not important, if they make the statement, you know what, that shit doesn't matter, they are completely wrong, and that's your first red flag to go in the other direction. First red flag, disappear from that. Secondly, if 5 minutes into the conversation, they're sending you wire instructions or bank account information, telling you how to wire funds, or if you got to go Western Union or MoneyGram money to them, if that's the only way they take payment. Anybody that is seriously looking to start this as a legitimate business is going to make it a legitimate business. You're going to go get your business license. You're going to go apply for your tax ID. You're going to get set up with a business account. You're going to get set up with a merchant account so you can do things like accept credit cards, because giving a client options is what's important. Now, the reason why we're really talking about this is we've added somebody new to the team today, and they don't work for me. They've got their own practice. They've been doing this for way longer than me. So I want to talk a little bit about, we'll talk about RDAP, the Residential Drug Addiction Program, here a little bit, guys. So a lot of people want to get into the drug program. You have to have substance abuse documentation in order to get into the Residential Drug Addiction Program. What does it mean you have to have documentation? What kind of documentation? It needs to be identified in your PSR, your pre-sentence report, which is going to happen either after you take your plea or after you're found guilty. Because obviously if you're not found guilty, you won and you don't have to worry about it. So if you're going to prison at some point in the federal system, you're going to have a PSR interview where you're going to sit down with U.S. probation and they're going to grill you with questions. Part of that portion of that grilling of questions is going to be substance abuse. So there's a gentleman out of Delray Beach, okay? His name is Irving Shatner. Counseling Center for Growth and Recovery. So I'm just going to read a little bit about Irving. And I've actually been talking back and forth with Irving for over a year. I've known him through the industry. I've known prison consultants that have worked with him and are very, very happy with the outcome for their clients. So what Irving does, I'm just going to read a little bit, some bullet points, if you want to call it that, on what Irving does and why I decided to align myself with him for select clients. Not every client's going to need Irving services, but the clients that do need above and beyond with letters and professional opinions, this is the guy, guys. Let me tell you why. Okay, so Irving Shatner is a licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist with over 25 years in mental health field. Specializes in treating anxiety, depression, and addictions. He has helped countless people with addictions problems gain success admission into the RDAP program through his comprehensive assessments, counseling, and documentation. He's helped clients from early phases of their experience with the federal criminal justice system all the way through their sentencing and surrender. Through his counseling and other services, he's not only helped substance abusers gain access into RDAP, but also helped them make smooth transitions life into prison. His assessment and counseling services have helped many clients with anxiety and depression associated with addiction by offering them hope and help for a better life of living. And a clean and sober life from alcohol and other drugs. He also offers counseling and support to family members who need to share what they're going through while their family members are dealing with the legal system, currently incarcerated. Irving collaborates with prison consultants, just like me, and attorneys in providing crucial documentation to support their clients during the phases of adjudication process. Okay, so what does that mean? In a nutshell, Irving understands the process of RDAP. So many times I have clients that have their own therapist, their own whatever it is that they're dealing with, and they'll call me up and say, hey, my therapist wrote me a letter to help me get into RDAP. I'm like, great, send it over. The letters are usually bullshit. The letter will just say, my client has a substance abuse addiction. Doesn't have date frames, doesn't talk about when it started, when it ended. There's so many important factors that people don't know about when it comes to getting into RDAP. It's not just saying you have an addiction. It's when the addiction started. It's when the addiction ended. And it's a very specific date frame from the point of getting indicted. If it was too long ago, it means nothing. If it happened after indictment and that's how it gets documented, it means nothing. So having people that know the way to make this happen, guys, that is the recipe to success. So why did I choose Irving? Well, Irvin's reached out to me several times through Facebook. He's reached out to me through Instagram. He's reached out to me through, I'm not sure if it was through YouTube, but over the last year or so, I've spoken with Irving on and off. And after following him and not hearing one bad thing about the man, doing my research on him, he's got an office in Delray Beach from the area I'm from. I know exactly where his office is. So I know that he's taking this serious. He's been in the business 20 plus years. Nobody goes 20 plus years without having bad reviews on them if they're not doing the right thing, correct? Okay, so for the clients that need that additional help, maybe you don't have it documented completely in your PSR. we all know that a lot of times if you don't know what you're doing, you're likely to say the wrong thing. So you're sitting there at this interview process with U.S. probation, you're out on pretrial bond, and you're scared that anything you say is going to fuck you up and either give you more time in prison or somehow revoke your bond and you're going to go get remanded into custody sitting in county jail. So when they start asking you about your substance abuse, you might say things like, no, I've never drank. I've never used drugs. I've never smoked weed. I've never done crack, and I've never done meth. Okay, great. Marks it. You move on. Well, now you find out you're screwed for RDAP because not only was it not documented, the date frames weren't documented, so now it makes it really, really rough. Irving, he claims to have had the ability to actually help people get into the program that didn't have it documented in their PSR due to the fact that not because they didn't have addictions, but because they weren't being honest during the interview process out of fear and maybe poor coaching or counseling from their attorney, not completely letting them understand the process of what one needs to do to get into RDAP. If you don't know what RDAP is, it's the Residential Drug Addiction Program that's through the Bureau of Prisons that can reduce your sentence by up to 12 months as long as you have 37 months or more. It can range anywhere from 6 months to 12 months depending on your sentence range. If you have less than 24 months sentence, you won't be able to take RDAP, but actually you can take RDAP. You can't get any time off, but you can get additional halfway house. So that can make a big difference. I do not know what's going on. We got Hunter Moore talking about prison rape. Priya is a thing. Also, there is enough each other that you won't have to worry about. Okay. Those of you that are going to camps or lows and you're worried about getting raped, it's not going to happen. Just like what Hunter Moore just said, there's plenty of willing participants in federal prison. I used to see guys walking the track, holding hands. They weren't allowed to do that, but you know, when COs weren't looking, they would hold hands, walk the track, boyfriends. You know, so there's plenty of people in prison for that community. If you're homosexual, you're not going to struggle in prison. And if you're a straight guy and maybe you're young, maybe you think, oh my God, you know, I'm too pretty to go to prison. Trust me, you're not going to you might get joked around with, but nobody's going to try to take your butt. Not going to happen. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, prison consultants. Continue on this conversation with prison consultants. Okay, so I got a bad taste in my mouth today from another prison consultant. He specializes in helping sex offenders. And I reached out to him and I said, hey, do you have any viable resources, any contacts, any groups that you know of? That's a good source for sex offenders that are looking to get help so they don't keep re-offending with the same crimes that they've done in the past. You know, whatever people think about sex offenders, you hate them, you wish they all die, whatever. We all know they're going to have a release date. They're going to get out of prison. And I've said it a million times, if we don't focus on a solution, the problem will continue. And next time it could be your child or my child. So instead of perpetuating that ignorance and just hate, we talk about, okay, how can we help the solution? How can we help fix it? What can we do to solve these problems? So I reached out to a known prison consultant that specializes in supposedly helping sex offenders. And when I asked him if he had any resources, he said, yeah, hire me. It's like, come on. If somebody came to me and said, hey, Dan, you got any help for getting into RDAP? You got any, you know, with whatever it is, I would give it to any prison consultant, just like I'd give it to any client. So for somebody to say that tells me their heart's not in the right place, and I will not be promoting that prison consultant anytime soon. As a matter of fact, if he doesn't watch himself, I might blast him all over YouTube. I don't like throwing stones. As you guys saw, there was a video on here with two other prison consultants, Larry Levine and Justin Paperny, and it got a little out of hand. I've retracted that video because I do not want to perpetuate hate in any way. Even if what the other party's saying is true, I don't know that to be factual. If it was factual, I would do it just like I did it to RDAP Law Consultants. I know that company is a complete scam. Scammy. They are dirty, so run in other directions. If you're out there looking for a prison consultant and you talk to RDAP Law Consultants, hang up the phone and call anybody else. I don't care. Justin Paperny, Michael Santos, rdapdan, anybody else is a better option than that. But, I mean, I'm probably the best option, but that's a biased comment. So, what else we got going on here? Chris, you're getting ready, huh? We got everybody's. I'm about to lose a whole nother group of people. I sent Todd a message today. We're getting the blog up and running, so I asked Todd some very in-depth questions about the prison he's at so he can start communicating with us to give you guys some insight on that prison at least. And I know Todd's been dying to do it, so the website's ready. I've just been lazy, but it's ready. So it's real important, guys, if you're out there deciding that you might want to hire a prison consultant, be careful. If you don't put in your homework and your due diligence and you end up getting, a shitty service, you got to take some responsibility in that. How much homework did you really do? How many of you were not satisfied with your attorneys? Imagine if you had known the questions to ask your attorney first. I've had clients, just after having a 30-40 minute conversation with me, go back and talk to their attorneys, and they said it was like night and day, knowing what questions to ask them. And you could see the attorney's gears spinning a little bit, like, where do these questions come from? When you see your attorney getting a little frustrated with you, and Juan Carlos, I'm not talking about you. You create a different kind of frustration for your attorneys. But when you start asking your attorneys the right questions, directed questions, you're going to see their gears get a little frustrated because they're not used to working that hard. But I assure you, it is going to help you in the end, and it is going to make a much better attorney out of them because they're going to be raising their bar on what they're used to doing. I literally had a client. He was supposed to be in here tonight, but he couldn't make it. He had a softball game or something. That his attorney would not accept his personal narratives and his character reference letters that he hired us to do, because it was so different from what the attorney was used to seeing. He's like, no way, no way, no way. Everybody else he showed the letters to, his probation officer, all said, this is great stuff. Pure accountability. You're not blaming anybody. You're owning up to this. The attorney was so egotistical, not wanting to budge. It said, oh, that's already in the letter that we're submitting. No, it's not. No, it's not. There's a difference in saying my client takes responsibility for what he did versus coming from your mouth to the judge's eyes in reading it. There's a big difference. And I can tell you, we've seen it. We've seen it through Todd. We've seen it through Will. We've seen it through Serge. We've seen it through Chris is getting ready to go through it. Jay Hugasane's going through it. We've seen the difference, guys. And guess what? He got sentenced. He got fucking slammed at sentencing. The judge didn't, or the attorney would not submit his letters. The most time he could have got was like 11 years or something like that. He ended up getting like 9.5. Not to say the letters would have got him a shorter amount of time, but we'll never know now. Now he's going to be laying in his bunk, just like I tell all of you, you don't want to be laying in your bunk wondering, what if I had done something different? What if I had done more? If prison consultants are telling you the letters are a waste of time, going to AA and NA is a waste of time, doing community service is a waste of time, dude, they're giving you bad advice. Just think about that. Can community service hurt your chances at a lighter sentence? Can putting in a personal narrative and character reference letters that are done the right way hurt your chances? Can going to AA and NA hurt your chances? No. Does it mean it's going to get you time off? No. But that 1/100th of 1% chance that it does, isn't that worth it? And if it's not worth it, then yeah, I'm not the prison consultant for you. If you call me up and you say you don't have time to do that, you don't think you can handle that, well, I hope you can handle prison, because I can't help those that won't help themselves. I can't give you a grandiose guarantee. I can't make you any promises. I can promise you that we're going to work our ass off, and as hard as you're willing to work, we're willing to match you dollar for dollar. Not dollar for dollar, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we're right there behind you. So having the right team, we've got the writers. We've got people like Irving, and I'll put Irving's information in this video. I'm probably going to pull this video down when it's over and edit it and make it a little bit shorter for those of you that are going to be watching this at a later date, because this is an important video, and I don't want somebody to see the counter on the video and go, oh, 45 minutes. I don't want to watch a 45-minute video. It's because most people have the mind span of a fucking goldfish, and if it's not a 30-second video of some guy beating up a guy or some cop shooting a kid, nobody wants to watch it. If you're getting ready to go to prison, put in your time, put in your homework. Hello, Tamara. What's going on? ASAP. We didn't find Dan until after Yeah, Tamara came to me after the fact, and it's just been bad news after bad news for Tamara. Her son started off at a camp, got into a little simple altercation with somebody, a little fight at the camp, and got booted up to a low. Went to a, he went to, it's Tamara, what was the low he went to again? Yazoo. Went to Yazoo low. So not to scare anybody, but everything that Ian, which is Tamara's son, has said about Yazoo low sounds like a freaking medium. It sounds like there's a lot of violence, a lot of lockdowns, a lot of inmate on guard violence and guard on inmate violence, a lot of politics. That's not how most lows are ran. So, still trying to get moved to a medium for now. They're moving to a medium. I hope you mean low. But guys, Yazoo prison, and I forgot where that's at, Mississippi or something. Yazoo does not sound like the low that anybody wants to go to. So if you're requesting a prison and your attorney says, I'm going to request you Yazoo, say, please don't. Please do not request Yazoo. No Yazoo for me. Every time I hear the word Yazoo, I think of those little things as kids that you'd blow in and they make those crazy noises. Is that called a Yazoo? Something like that, right? So is everybody clear on how to go about vetting a prison consultant or a prison? I like to think of myself as a coach as well. Like on my team, I'm the quarterback. Could never be on a real football team because I throw like a girl. But in the land of federal prison, I'm like an all-star quarterback. And I've got a really good team who runs amazing plays, and people that work with us are accountable. I just sent Irving a client. I just sent Irving a client over the last couple days. Before I even sent Irving payment for the client, Irving was already on top of it, getting stuff done, contacting the client, getting packages sent out to them for an evaluation package to get sent out to the prison. This client happens to already be in prison. It can't hurt. Juan Carlos, if you want to talk to me about taking advantage of this as well to add additional support for you potentially getting into RDAP, I know a lot of you may need that. Juan, if you want to talk to me about that, give me a call after. I really wanted to do my homework on this guy before I started talking about him, and what I like about him is he's not going to give you some bullshit guarantee. He's not going to make promises. He's going to put in the work and the effort. And I actually know clients that came to me from other prison consultants that happen to also use Irving, and their only happy experience about the whole consultation side of things was the experience they had with Irving. So hearing it over and over again, good or bad, that's how you build your own declaration on what you're going to think of somebody. So the fact that I haven't heard anything bad about Irving, I haven't heard one bad thing about him. I've heard nothing but good things about him. So Irving's not paying me to say these things. There's plenty of other people that I could I could get to do these opinions, and even some of them would probably charge less than Irving, but their reputation does not carry the same weight that Irving's does. So with that said, guys, if you're trying to get into RDAP, even if you think it's a sure thing, if you want the additional support and you're willing to, fork over some extra dough, because there ain't nothing free in this world, but you get what you pay for. We've got almost every single one of our clients that had the proper documentation in their PSR was able to enter into RDAP. However, this is like an insurance policy that it's going to reinforce what we're already trying to do. So I'm going to recommend it to all of my clients that are trying to qualify for RDAP, especially the ones that are coming to me after their PSR and there's not substantial documentation. I will not take a client going forward to help them get into RDAP unless they're willing to utilize the services of somebody like Irving. It doesn't have to be Irving. You can use your own guy, but I can tell you Irving knows his stuff, and the chances are Irving's not going to be more expensive than whoever else you're looking at. So keep that in mind, my friendly YouTubies. I guess I'm the YouTuber, you're the YouTubee. We're going to wrap this video up a little bit early tonight. No calls, only a letter that he was moved into protective custody. Attacks happen regularly, and they are often on lockdown. Yeah, it sounds like a really shitty place from what you tell me. not my experience at all from prison. And that's the crazy thing, is everybody's prison experience is based on their own perspective. Hunter Moore was at a camp, right? No. Were you at a camp or a low, Hunter? I think you were at a camp. And, you know, Hunter did well in prison. You know, I was emailing back and forth. Hunter will tell you, if you guys want to know, does RDAP really keep in touch with people once they go to prison? Ask Hunter Moore. He was never my client, never paid me a dime, because he was snaked by another prison consultant. But even though Hunter Moore never paid me a dime, I kept in contact with him on a regular. At least once or twice a month, I would just see how he's doing. And a lot of times I'd get these awful eyes and emails back where he was freaking out about something. And usually it was because he was in RDAP. RDAP is scary because if something happens and you get screwed up in RDAP, you lose your time. But needless to say, if I'm keeping in contact with clients that haven't paid me anything, that just goes to tell you that I'm keeping in contact with clients that hired me. It's what we do, guys. We want to see you succeed. We don't want to see you go through this with the same anxiety that other people are going to go through with it with. It's unnecessary. You have enough stress. You have enough to worry about. Then what's my first day in prison going to be like? Is it going to be scary? Am I going to get beat up, raped, shanked? Are they going to steal my food? Are they going to break into my locker and say, hey, give us your lunch, bitch? It doesn't happen. There you go. See, Hunter Moore could charge for comments like that. Like, if Hunter called me up before that comment, it's like, hey, times are tough. I'm not making enough cutting the fucking grass over here, so I'm going to post a really nice comment. Throw me a $50 bill. I just might do that. That's a lie. I'm not paying you for comments, Hunter Moore. But Hunter Moore is brilliant on top of it. He knows tons of people in networking industry, in SEO and PPC and stuff like that. So, you know, I got to get my name out there other than YouTube, because these other prison consultants are definitely ruling the space on like Google and stuff like that. So it's time to kick it up a notch, everybody. RDAP Dan. It's like that little man. You know when you're watching the race and the guy that nobody expected to win the race? I'm coming from behind. So if you're in front of me, don't fucking keep your eyes too far ahead, because I'm coming. I'm coming for you, prison consultants. All right, that's enough of that. I got to eat. This protein shake just isn't doing it for me. So guys, we're going to recap, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. If you're hiring a prison consultant, make sure you ask some basic questions. Why did you get into this? How did you get into this? When did you decide to turn this into a business? Where did you come up with your pricing structure? What am I getting for $7,500 or $5,000 or $3,500, and I'm not going to get from somebody else that's charging $14.95, like that guy RDAP Dan. So find out what you're going to get differently. And other than you might get a flashier press kit, you might get some glossy paper, you might get a really cool logo emailed to you. But as far as services, find out what you're going to get differently, guys, because that's what it comes down to. Is if someone's heart is in it, usually other things will follow. Make sure that... Oh, my cat's coming to stalk the bird. Get out of here, cat. Kiki does not know how to deal with this bird. So we're going to... Look at this. Fucking stalking my bird right now. My focus is back behind me. So, yeah. So make sure you ask these questions. If they want you to wire... Or if they want you to wire money... Get down. If they want you to wire money, or if they want you to do Western Union, or they're sending you bank account information, or go deposit cash into my account, guys, that's sketchy as fuck. I came from an industry, like I told you, in sales. And if guys didn't take credit cards, it was for a reason. It's because they're afraid of chargebacks. And if you're afraid of chargebacks, it's because you're not going to do your job, and you're afraid someone's going to go, you know what? This guy didn't do shit for me. I'm going to go cancel this transaction. So make sure that they can take payment methods that make you, the buyer, secure. This way you know you have some peace of mind in where your money went. I get it. Some of you don't have bank accounts and your only option is to do that. That's a whole different story. That's your choice, not mine. I've had clients say, can I Western Union you money? I say, sure, but I can send you an invoice right now that you can pay with a credit card or check. That way you're protected. Some of them do. Most of them do. I've had a couple that wanted to do Western Union. I guess they keep their money in a mattress. I don't know. But those are things you need to ask yourself. and find out who's on their team, what they're going to be able to do for you, and just do your homework, everybody. Let me read. But you said you saw violence, iron to the face, microwaves, or someone sleeping. Those, Moliness, those weren't reoccurring type of things. Those were like, one of the guys was this gay guy. Everybody called it was actually a guy. I forget. Everybody called it her, like Andy or something. But it was like I can't remember the name. And somebody kept. It was a little skinny black guy that was gay, and this other guy just kept pushing his buttons, and he said the word, called him a faggot in front of people, and you just saw the look. It was like, did not like being disrespected like that. As soon as that guy laid down and closed his eyes on the bunk, went and got an iron from there's a room where you iron your clothes where the ice chest is, went and got the iron and put it to that man's face. Not hot, didn't like heat it up, like, hammered it into his face 3 or 4 times. Got shipped out of the compound, was gone for a while, then came back. They left the gay guy that did that beat the guy with the iron, was taken to the SHU for maybe 30 or 60 days. The guy that got the beating got shipped, and the guy that did the beating came back and was released on the compound. Lois, that's what his name was. I think his name was Lou, but everybody called him Lois. And it actually was a really nice guy. He wasn't like walking around trying to convert or hitting on guys. He was just a legitimate homosexual guy. That's just how he lived his life, and he wasn't hiding it in prison. I played sports with this guy. I've walked the track with this guy. I had conversations with this guy. I didn't care. He wasn't trying to change my life. He was a nice guy. And that's what mattered to me. But he wasn't going to let somebody disrespect him like that. The other one, the fight with the microwave, was a little fight broke out, and there was like this room that's kind of behind. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like you're walking down a hallway, you pass the TV room. There's a little room where you go in there, you can like fold your clothes. It's just like an empty room with shelves, and there's a microwave in there that people could use. That's why they ended up moving the microwave out of there for that reason. Well, 2 guys got into an altercation over something. I don't know ultimately what it was, and I heard the commotion, and my bunk was pretty close to it. So as I was walking out, I saw a cord fly around the corner. I'm like, what the hell? And it was the cord coming out of the wall from the microwave, and I heard this noise was just extremely loud, and the big guy that was definitely putting the beating on the smaller guy was on the ground, and he got hit in the face twice with the microwave on the ground. Like I honestly thought he was dead, because these microwaves that they have in prison, they're not like the little microwaves that you pick up at like Walmart or Target. These things are made for mass use. They're heavy, they're sturdy, they're industrial. They look like they're made out of like stainless steel. But yeah, he got beat with that. Other than that, there were some of the fights I didn't see, because not every fight happened in my unit. There were some fights with locks, locks and socks. But the people that get involved in this stuff, it's not random. These are people that are beefing over something, that don't know how to stop running their mouth, that can't stay quiet, can't mind their own business. I never got into those type of altercations. The people that I surrounded myself with never got into those type of altercations, because we weren't engaging in that kind of activity. So the point is you can avoid it pretty easily, especially if you're at a camp. This was at a low. Lows are potentially a little bit more dangerous than a camp. You've got guys that have to be doing less than 20 years at a low. If you're at a camp, your time's got to be under 10. So it just depends. Oh God, Shelly, what is Shelly talking about? Shelly, what are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be cutting someone's hair right now? Shelly's got her own hair salon, guys. So if you're in the Spokane area and you ever need a haircut or a mohawk or a perm or a blowout, I don't know. She does all different little things over there. But did anyone get pissed off about lack of medical? Oh yeah, Juan, that was a huge deal. People complaining about medical. If you've got messed up teeth, they're just yanking them. If you got something wrong with your teeth, okay, we'll pull it out for you. So I tell this to all my clients. If you've got any medical issues, get it taken care of now. We don't sell perms. It's 2017. My bad. Bring perms back. Let's do it together and bring perms back. I think you should put that on your next Facebook special. Bringing the perm back. Gangsta. But Jesse Tang, all right. Shelly, meet Jesse. Jesse, meet Shelly. Tamara. Shelly knows all about you, Tamara and Ian. Shelly does a lot of the emails to Ian, disguised as Dan. But violence exists. Camps, lows, mediums, pens. Violence is there. It's just the higher level security you are, the more common it is. The lower security level you are, the less likely you have to be involved in it. If you're in a higher security and something pops off, you got no choice. You got to get involved. All right, guys. I'm RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time. Make sure you like my channel, subscribe to my channel, share all this great content. If you haven't already done so, text the word YouTube to 35074. That puts you on our notification list. That lets you know of time changes. It also lets you know of, like, on the Mind of a Sex Offender Part 2, a lot of you got notification of that a day before it came out, as I had it posted on VidMe. So you guys got to see it a day earlier before everybody else got to see it today. So if you want to get notification of some videos that will never be posted on YouTube or early releases of different videos, the only way you can do that is by texting the word YouTube to 35074. Jesse, you showed up kind of late, but I'm glad you're here because everybody was wondering about you, how you're doing. Jesse, do you know when and if you're going to federal prison, just in case we don't see you again for a while? So we can get some feedback from you on that. Shelly, I hope you're coming home so we can go get some dinner. I'm very, very hungry. And our refrigerator looks like it's brand new and we just moved in, which means it's empty. We need to go food shopping. All right, guys, I'm rolling. Jesse. Got you, my man. All right, guys, I will see you guys Wednesday. Be here. That's about it. Everybody have a fantastic afternoon or evening, whatever time it is there. I'll see you guys soon. RDAP Dan. Love every single one of you. Peace.